Fortunate to have with us today an accomplished media personality who will serve as our mistress of ceremonies. Ana Maria Montero is an anchor and a correspondent with CNN in Espanol and the hosts the network's entertainment show Escenarios. Ana Maria is also a co-founder and vice president of a not-for-profit called Trekking for Kids, which organizes purpose-driven treks for orphans around the world. So we're really pleased to have us with her. She's come all the way from Los Angeles to be with us today. So thank you, Ana Maria. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Jim O'Donnell, Georgetown's provost, who will offer a few welcoming remarks. Jim has been provost at Georgetown since 2002, and he may have one of the most unusual academic leadership backgrounds. He is both a distinguished scholar in the classics and a national leader in the application of networked information technology in higher education. His recent classic scholarship is reflected in his latest book, The Ruin of the Roman Empire, which was published by HarperCollins last year. And he is also the chair of the National Academy of Sciences Expert Study Group, reviewing the role of information technology in the services and strategies of the Library of Congress. That's a mouthful. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jim O'Donnell.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It is a great pleasure to see and feel the energy of Georgetown brought into this place. We like to think that there is no place on the globe in which the sun ever sets on Georgetown, and we think indeed of New York City as one of our northern colonies. This is a great day, and will be, I think, exciting and interesting for many of you. Bill has given you some of the highlights. It remains for me just formally to express our gratitude to the Eli Lilly Company for its financial sponsorship and for the media sponsorship we have from The Economist magazine, and a partnership there that we think will be important for us now and in years to come. The world ain't what it used to be. Georgetown University, we believe, is uniquely positioned to host an event of this kind, to bring together the kind of people we bring, partly because of our 500-year participation through the Society of Jesus in an international movement of understanding and expansion of peoples throughout the world, and at the same time, and more pertinently, more locally, because of our history as the home of the Georgetown University School of Foreign Service, founded in 1919 by the Reverend Edmund A. Walsh, S.J. If you think about it, 1919 was a strikingly Wilsonian moment at which to be thinking about a school of foreign service in the United States, when isolationism could just as easily have been the policy of choice. In the world in which that School of Foreign Service was born and in which Georgetown University took its roots as a major player on the international stage, the issues, the people in the world were very different from what we see around us today. The world was a patchmark map of colonies dominated by European powers. And if there was such a thing as energy policy, it had to do with one particular form of carbon, that is to say, coal. If energy policy had come on the global stage in the decade before the founding of the School of Foreign Service, it was because we discovered that the English dreadnoughts were more powerful weapons of war because that Welsh coal was harder and burned hotter and longer than the stuff that came out of German coal mines. We've moved forward from a world of colonies and coal to a world of emerging markets and carbon trading. The issues that face us are no longer the issues that faced the disputants at the time of the Treaty of Versailles. We live in a world in which nation states are important, but we recognize that transnational governance, transnational law, Georgetown opened its first Center for Transnational Law in London last fall, and transsector partnership among private sector, third sector, NGOs, government, and other actors, all need to work together in order to build the global community that we are moving towards. Today's forum will be about the new philanthropy and its place in the world of policy, politics, and economics. It's an opportunity that the ancient historian in me sees as reinventing not what Marshall McLuhan called the global village, but the global city-state, recapturing some of the values of ancient societies in which the partnership between the leading citizens who understood it as their patriotic, civic, personal, and ethical responsibility to be as engaged in building the society around them as they expected formal organizations, nation states, governments, and empires to be. Rebuilding that kind of culture and that kind of partnership on a global level is clearly the task that stands in front of us. We see we live in an exciting time for reimagining what we can do. That's what this forum is about. As a university, of course, we have an obligation and an opportunity to think how we contribute to this dialogue. One way we do it is here. Another way we do it is through our ordinary day job and our ordinary business. This is the month in which the tulips are out at Georgetown, and that means it's the month in which we are trucking through hundreds and hundreds of prospective students who've now been admitted and who want to go to that campus on a hilltop with all of those fine tulips. We don't tell them that the tulips go away after the month of April. Assuring that Georgetown University is able to attract the best students from across the United States and from around the world is a mission for the institution. It's one that animates our leadership, animates our financial strategy, animates our philanthropic strategy, not as an end in itself, because it is a means to the end which we share for the purposes for which we come together here today. Today will be, I say, an exciting day. Many of the panelists and the speakers today bring exciting different perspectives. It's going to be a pleasure to see again Father John Foley, who's the founder and executive chair of the Cristo Rey Network that builds new, highly innovative and highly effective schools in the impacted urban areas of the United States. We have already learned that some of our most promising students can come from those Cristo Rey institutions. Greg Mortensen is here. He is the co-founder and executive director of the Central Asia Institute. Central Asia is much closer and much more important to our world than it certainly was in 1919. Ray Chambers, the founding chair of the Points of Light Institute, himself a philanthropist and has served as UN Secretary General Special Envoy for Malaria, will be joining us. And an exciting new addition to the Georgetown community, Mark Dybel, who was the former United States Global AIDS Coordinator, is now a distinguished scholar at Georgetown, co-director of the O'Neill Institute for National and Global Health Law.